Today I'm at the Sachsenhausen, I'm trying to say it correctly, but I don't think that's very good German, concentration camp. So Sachsenhausen Concentration Camp, it's actually a work camp. They did a lot of systematic murders here as well. There were gas chambers. Right now I'm standing in the infirmary, and there's the watchtower right there behind me. This camp is laid out in a triangle form, so you can see everything from the watchtower. Really heavy day. Really heavy day. I think it's just, you're taking it all in, and you're trying to grasp what happened here, but so many people died. I mean, the systematic way they killed people here. They had the gas chamber, a small one, and then also they had what they called neck shot facilities, where you went into a room, you showered, you went into a room and stood against a wall, and they shot you from behind in the neck, and you didn't even know they were there. You didn't know you were gonna die. Nothing like that. And apparently it was done that way because it was cheap, and it was less torturous on the guards who killed the people. So if they had a firing squad wall, and they did hangings and all of that stuff, and they killed people a lot of different ways here. But apparently the neck shot facility is one of the big ones where they were able to systematically dispose of a lot of human beings that way. And that's pretty heavy stuff to think about, and you're walking around somewhere where all of this happened, and it's hard to take in and comprehend how that could happen. It's hard to comprehend how human beings could do this to each other. It's pretty heavy day. This is where the SS officers trained, and this is where they ate, and the prisoners called this the Green Monster, and they had to serve the SS officers there, and they had to serve them the good food while they were starving, and so it was another form of humiliation. Okay, what you're looking at now is the entrance to the camp, and up there is Tower A, and they had machine guns up there where you could reach the entire camp and just gun down people. And this right here is the time that the camp was liberated. This has the clock, which is the time that the camp was liberated. So here's the entrance. We're entering from the commandant area, and we're going into the camp.
In order to open the fire, once a prisoner was passing this line, okay? And what happened is that one time there was like a prisoner, his name was Gustav Lampe. He was brought here because he was communist from the parliament, from the Reichstag. What happened is that a guard, they took his hat and they throw it there, and they ordered him to go to pick it up, and then they kill him. And they said that by say that he was trying to escape, okay? The thing is that somehow you will see that they were always trying to justify.
Okay, where the rocks and gravel are, where the barracks were, they're not here anymore. And then on the left you see the laundry, on the right you see the canteen, and back there is, in the middle is where the gallows were. All of these gravel blocks and stones are where the barracks once stood, and they were torn down when they used this as a training ground later. But they have this so you can see where all the barracks were. In 1996, during some excavations, around 500 pieces of leather, which were the remains of shoes and other leather goods from the so-called shoe factory, were discovered. In reality, this was a recycling plant where prisoners had to tear up shoes, suitcases, all of that stuff that previously belonged to murdered victims of the extermination camps. Okay, we are currently inside the prison, inside the concentration camp, where a lot of political prisoners like special well-known prisoners were held. One of Stalin's sons was a prisoner here, but Stalin did not care because he didn't care about that son. And right here is where some of the punishment would happen. They'd tie their hands behind their back and they'd be on these poles and their feet wouldn't be able to touch the ground, and they'd be held here for hours at times. There's an electric fence around the outside, and we're going to go inside one of the barracks, and it's been modified and rebuilt so it looks a bit nicer than it was obviously back then. This is the infirmary. Because this place was a work camp, they wanted to get them back on their feet and working, you know, in quotations I say, infirmary. We are currently in the mortuary underneath the pathology building.